in this live coaching session with Jillian Pettit, you are going to hear us literally have her breakthrough moment. So for those of you that are just sitting on that, in that space of, like, I think I know the thing, but do I know the thing? But I'm feeling kind of stuck, but how would I make this into a thing? This one's for you, okay? Join me and Jillian as we navigate her life's mission and the work and the things that God has given her in her life to overcome, and also to bring her more strength as a parent of special needs children, and hear how she really is going to take that life experience and the beautiful, incredible gift that God gave her to help other moms who have special needs kids navigate that space. If you want to find out more about Jillian, please head over to her podcast, Sprinkled with Strength, and give it a listen, especially if you know another mama with special needs children. She is creating that sisterhood. She is working hard to really create that community that is so desperately needed. So I'm just proud of Jillian, and I'm excited that I got to be a part of this breakthrough for her. I know you guys are going to love this episode, and you're just going to love Jillian. Welcome back to the Mompreneur Mastermind Show, where we choose to run insanely successful passive income businesses that light us up while consuming iced coffee, braless and flawless, and maybe breaking it down to some gangster rap while our kids aren't looking. Did we just become best friends? Yes, we did. Hey, I'm Stephanie Gass, six-figure corporate exec turned top 1% network marketer turned podcaster. I believe when we let God light our path, we experience true miracles. Welcome, sister. Let's get pumped up for today's show. So let's start with, what are your goals for today? What do we have to accomplish?
So I would love to nail down a solid business idea, and then from that, how I can turn it into some sort of online profitability. So figuring out what that next step is, or what I could offer to the world besides just talking to them.
Okay. And what do you do right now?
So right now I have a business called Essentially Dr. Mom. It is MLM business. So I do essential oils.
Okay.
But within that, I also work on connecting with special needs moms, because I have two special needs kids. And when my son was born and I had like a similar birth experience, I was like, I must have missed the mark on the first one, that God is doing this to me again. Like, he was like, you need a redo. You missed the door. I tried to give you something and you didn't follow it.
So now I'm really going to bless you, because you have to do something with this.
Right. Because I had two, so they were both micro preemies. My daughter was 26 weeks. My son was 25. So super rare, and they were both under 2 pounds. So like, gosh, in the fact that it happened again, I'm like, obviously, like, I'm called to do something that I just don't know what.
Okay. Wow. That's cool. And so are you doing the Essentially Dr. Mom full time? Or are you working elsewhere?
I do not work elsewhere. I take care of my son primarily. My daughter is in the 6th grade. She's at school. My son, I do homeschool with him in the morning, and then take him an hour away to ABA for autism.
Okay. Very neat. So let's start with, what is like a year from now? If you could just talk about something, because you said you like really love talking. Let's think about, what do you want to talk about? If you, a year from now, could just pick to talk about anything in the entire world, what would you talk about?
I think that is probably where I struggle, because I don't know what I love talking about. I just know I love talking people through things.
Okay.
Like my bachelor's in psychology, when I had my son, I was getting my master's in counseling, but then I'm like writing a paper, like drugged up, like, can I have an extension? I just had a C-section. So what really like gets me fired up is whether it's in my business and I'm talking through someone in my downline about how to work through a situation, or I'm talking with, one of my mom friends or something about their child who's struggling with something, or like getting tested for autism, or how I handled something. Like, I love talking about other people's problems.
Okay.
let me ask you,
Mm-hmm.
if you really focused on having a resource for moms of kids with autism,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the micro niche that you stepped into, that was your core thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a bajillion ways we can monetize that. So don't worry about that right now. I want to make sure, does that light your fire, or does that feel like, ooh, that's just off?
I don't know. I think that I've always struggled with, so whether it was with like my essential oils, I avoided the special needs issues for a long time because to me it seems so big.
Yeah.
Like, and every child has such different issues and such different strengths and weaknesses that it seems so big. I can't grasp every situation. So I think what I've been coming to is, so not necessarily just for autism, but for any mom whose child is struggling, I think a strength of mine with my kids is seeing things that are strengths and then working those in to help with their struggles.
Yes.
So like my son loves music. So how can we incorporate music into like language that he's struggling with and then work with that? Or my daughter loves horses or tech or whatever. Like, how can I motivate her with a thing that she loves to do the thing and work on the thing she doesn't like doing?
Oh my gosh.
So I think that's kind of like, I've been like, since I booked our appointment, that's like all I've been thinking of is like, what in the world am I even going to tell this girl? Like she's wonderful at pulling all these things out of people, but I need to know like where I am to help her help me. So
yeah, but right off the bat, I will tell you right now, if you were the woman to step into that space and say, I'm here to support the mom of a special needs or struggling child, because I have too. I've been through it. I understand there's this process of acceptance, but there's also this process of thriving and of figuring out their gifts and helping them find happiness. And here's how you balance those things as a parent. And you have all the resources already for her. You have all this life experience that you can hand a mom. Don't you think that's an incredible miracle gift that you have to give?
I do, but then I feel like I should just give it away. I have trouble like wanting that to be a business. I feel so badly for them. Like I know that pain of like being up at night and thinking about their future and friendships and all that stuff, that I'm like, I don't want to ask you for money. I just want to like help you.
But listen, you will help them because of course I'm going to make you start a podcast. And so, you know, you're going to gift as much as you possibly can to this woman. And then you're going to say, but do you need more? Do you need implementation with me? Like there's so many ways that we can monetize it where you're not asking them for money. You're saying, I have something else for you at a higher level that will help solve even more of your stress in this area or whatever. We want to pay for solutions. So don't let that get in your head. And here's the other thing I've noticed. God gives me the favor and the provision when I stop worrying about, right? How am I going to make money? Or I feel bad about making money off this thing. And I finally just say, you called me to talk about this. I'm going to open my mouth and talk about it. And all of a sudden it's like the money's flowing in. People are calling for this or that. They want to hire you for stuff. Come speak, come consult on this. Or can I hire you for a 30-minute session with me? Because I'm having this issue. Like there's so many things you could do that, especially with your bachelor in psychology, I think it's beautiful because you're going to be able to get in the mindset of that parent. And
yeah, that's the stuff that I love. Like that will keep me up late. If I do a Zoom call or I'm talking to, you know, my team members late at night, like that's the stuff where I'm full of energy is talking through that mind piece.
Well, I think that's baller. I think you just have to get out of your own way and know that that is what you're being asked to do.
Well, and I think when it comes to parenting, it's so personal.
Yeah.
Everybody's family is different. So having that openness where it's sharing and not judging.
Yeah. And you can say that too. Like think about, I like to think, and we'll go here next in terms of title of a brand, tagline of a brand, description of a brand. Oh, there's already so many ideas I have for you to connect with these other moms basically. But opening up this safe space, this haven for her, like it's already hard enough for her. But she's going to go in the world and she's going to find judgment. Well, not here. You know, you're going to go and try to find the right resources to help you. And, you know, you don't know what to do and you're getting slammed with a million different options. Not here. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Like you're creating this safe space for those parents to grow through it together and to find positivity in the situation and find the blessing, because I think it's almost even more of a blessing that they've been gifted as this special child that has these different needs, and for them to navigate that and find the good in it. I just think that's such a beautiful mission. I can't even get behind it. Like, I'm like so excited for you.
I'm excited hearing you.
Good. I love that. And you know what's so cool? Essentially, Dr. Mom pairs perfectly, because obviously she needs essential oils for a bajillion things.
Right.
For the, you know, healing, for creating a calming space for her and the children and all of that. So right away, you can start monetizing with your essential oils company because it's a perfect fit. And I can talk to you about how you can verbalize that to her on the podcast. So of course, I want you to create. And the reason I want you to do a podcast is because that mom is not on YouTube. She's not reading blogs. She's probably listening while they drive to appointments, while she cooks, while she cleans. And your voice already is great. You have come through with a lot of confidence. I think that it would be a perfect place for you to come and share your content, share your stories with her. How do you?
I already told my husband, I'm like, I know I'm starting a podcast in 2020, and he's like, okay, like he's super supportive, and he's like, you do whatever you need to do. Like, I don't want to do video. Like, and I think that's what's held me back sometimes in my essential oil business. I'm like, on video, I have to be like presentable, and I need to have my makeup on, and I need to, like, if you want to sell a lifestyle, you need to like look like a lifestyle. So podcast is so much more my jam. And that's what I consume. So annoying. Right?
Video is so annoying. I just refuse. I'm like, hi, here I am with my pimple. Jillian, how are you? Like, I don't care. But it takes a long time to get to that space. But it's still, I went live in my podcast group the other day, and the kids are in and out. And it's like, it's just doesn't feel as relaxed for me.
It's different when it's a community.
Yeah.
Like, I have a really nice essential oil community, and that is a safe space. Like, and I think that is a gift of mine, of making other people feel welcome. It's like, I'm a extrovert in person, but an introvert. Like, I still need that downtime.
You're an ambivert, just like
I
me.
am.
So let's create your brand. Okay. There are 4 tiers of brand creation we're going to go through. The first is, who are we serving? We have a really great baseline for her, but we're just going to dig in a bit deeper.
Okay.
The second one is title of the brand, tagline of the brand, and description of the brand. So we're going to go through those 4 now. And then the next step is we're going to talk about maybe content, of how you can lay out content for her that solves, that serves, that's searchable in Google and gets found really easily and organically.
Okay.
Because that's everything. You want, when someone goes into iTunes, the Apple search for the podcast, and they type in special needs mom or special needs support or a parent of an autistic child, like, yours comes up. And it's right there, and it's juicy, and we've got the right episode titles. And then she's like, oh, this, like, nobody wants to get on there and hear a boring educational podcast. Like, they want to support. They want if this was me and I was sitting in your shoes, I'd be like, I need to fuel for today to get through this, and to know that, you know, there's a sisterhood of women that understand me. I need to break through the hard, and I want it to be light and fun and finding.
Well, and that's like, I wrote down, like, in the who do I want to serve, which I know is before, or I mean after the other stuff.
No, let's start with that. I want to start with that. So who is the avatar?
I think her name is Becky.
Okay.
But I wrote down some things that I feel like she feels, but she's struggling to process her kid's diagnosis. You know, it's in the earlier stages. She knows she needs to care for her kids and be there, and that they need all of her, but she also feels like she's drawn to more and, like, still be a person, even though her kid has these needs. She feels guilty about that, but she knows that, like, she's called to do more, but this is her season where she needs to kind of hunker down and take care of her kids right now. Also, the mom who's just afraid of getting the tests, like finding the diagnosis, finding the doctor, asking for help, seeing that something's off, not knowing, and then not having that friend group to support it, not knowing how to share her story with people. Because when she goes to MOPS groups, or she's on Facebook, or she's, you know, sees her friends post on Facebook all the A's their child just got, or like all of their things, that rips her soul in half. But she also wants to be there for those, like, those are her friends, those are her family. She wants to support them, but she needs support so badly and does not know how to ask for it and does not know where to go.
Girl, this is so needed in the world.
Well, because it's me. Like, I've left mops bawling. Like, those aren't my kids. I can't do what they're telling me to do. Like, that's not my life. Like, I'm so sorry your kid won't do that. Like, my kid can't eat. Like, it's so much more basic.
Totally.
Like,
and they don't get it. And that's what is so critical about what you're creating. It's a micro niche. And I think when you have a micro niche, that's where everything falls into place. It's not just, I help women solve problems and navigate what they're going through. Like, you are specifically helping a Becky, special needs children, and you know how and why and what, and it's safe and it's fun and it's light. And you like, so much. Yes. 1,000,000,000%. So good. Okay. So that's really clear. What are we going to call this thing?
Those are my blanks. That's why I have your stuff written down, but it's just like, I have nothing.
Okay. Let me think. We have to have special needs in the tagline for search. It has to be clear.
To search, yeah.
Are you infusing God and faith into this, or are you keeping that out?
I don't know. Like, it's part of me, but I don't necessarily think it has to be part of her.
Okay. What we want to do in a tagline is give her the promise. Who? The special needs mom or the special needs mother or the special needs mama. And what? It's community. It's support. It's peace. It's positivity.
Yeah, I kept writing down the stuff like uncovering too. Like, I don't know why that word, because I feel like all of that's there.
Yeah.
Like, in so much, like, we know, like, just because our kids have a diagnosis doesn't mean that our mama instincts are gone.
Let me look up in iTunes real quick. What comes up? 1 second. When I type in special needs mom, there's stuff like Unexceptional Moms, Mama Podcast, Real Mom Podcast. There's literally nothing there that says special needs right in there. Like, you would be the first podcast to come up.
Which is insane to me.
Insane. Oh my gosh. Power of Moms Radio. Here's one. Special needs mama in business, but still that's not the same thing. That's the only one that has special needs in the title. Like, for me, that's imperative.
I was playing around with too, like, what I like to do with my kids is look for those silver linings, looking for like turning their strengths, or like, you know, repositioning their strengths to help with their struggles, or like, you know, like things. That's because I was thinking, what are the tools I use? What do I do myself that I could actually help someone with, other than like, I'm great at hearing your story and then helping you like process your specific thing. So like, I could have, you know, other special needs moms on and talk about their stories or diagnosis and different things. But then I was thinking, like, what do I do with my kids?
Yeah. And I was going to tell you, when we get to content, we're for sure having other moms on this show.
Yeah. 100%.
You just said silver lining. Like, what if it was the silver lining show? And then for mothers of special needs children. Right? So it's like, you can have something like the silver lining show, podcast for special needs kids, or for special needs mamas. I think it's special mothers or mamas with special need children.
Kids. Yeah.
And that's the sentence. That's the promise, right? But it could be something like the silver lining show, or it could be something like, I don't know if it's weird to be like the special needs special. Is it weird to have that like as the title? I think I like better like something like the silver lining show, or like uncovering the silver lining, discover the silver lining.
Yeah. I like those. And I don't know if they're already in there.
They're not. I just looked up the silver lining. It's not even in there.
It's just crazy to me that in the combination, like, of all the things to me that seem like, oh, for sure that'd be taken. Like,
because it's for you, because it's yours.
Yeah.
And you just didn't know it was yours. And all along it's been being saved for you.
That's amazing.
Isn't it? Like, I could just faint on the floor. I love it. I love it. Like, uncovering the silver lining podcast for mamas.
That's like, I feel like that's 100% me.
I know, right? Uncovering the silver lining podcast for mamas with special needs kids.
Yep.
Oh, so good, right? Win it.
Buy it, brand it.
Brand it, buy it, do it.
Copyright it, whatever.
This is copyright, Jillian.
Yes.
Don't use that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for the mama, right? Or mother, do you like a certain word there?
I feel like I say like mama friend a lot.
Okay. We'll use that in the description, but for the tagline, because it's going to be in the graphic.
Yeah.
It's got to be
like I'm good with either mom or mama.
Okay.
Like one or more than like mother feels like.
And is it for the mom is the term special needs children?
Depends on who you ask, but yeah, I'm okay with it.
For moms.
Well, it would be
special needs children. Is that right?
For the mom of children with special needs.
Okay. So that's your tagline, right?
Yeah.
In the show, like in the graphic.
Yep.
Now, when we get into the description, this is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going, what? Because she just Googled special needs mom, autistic resources or whatever she's typing in there. We need to put that stuff into this description.
Okay.
I don't know this space as well as you, but let me do my best, and then you can retweak the words or the verbiage because you will know this space better than me. But let me do my best to give you like what a description might look and feel like so that we can click with her and then make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see what I got here. Give me the words, God. Give me the words on this one. Okay. Hey, mama friend. Do you have a child with special needs? I understand you. I get you. I feel you. I am you. With two of my own, we have felt the blessings, the hardships, and the confusion that comes with the journey of navigating autism.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it feels like to get that diagnosis, not know what it means, feel confused. Where do you start? Where's the safe community of other women facing this same hard questions? I want you to know that I've created a safe place for you where we can find the blessings in our situation. We can uncover the silver lining of being a parent with an autistic or special needs child together, because this doesn't have to be hard. This doesn't have to be overwhelming. I want to gift you every answer I've discovered along the way, have a couple of laughs, and be your friend and help you navigate this journey. Welcome to Uncovering the Silver Lining Show.
Yeah, I love it.
Something like that. And you'll know, so that's recorded.
Yeah.
Write that, feel into that, but we want to trigger her almost. We want her to read that and be like, crap, that's what I'm feeling right now. But I also want her to know I'm not going to blast you with do this, do that, or education, but like, let's find the light, the positivity, the silver lining of us, of loving ourselves again, even though we face this. Like, you don't have to be buried because you have a child with special needs. You still are you. You're still worthy of this great life. And there's all these beautiful things we can do to make your child's life more blessed as well. Mm-hmm. Like all the stories you have. So anyway, I would roll with that, read it, feel into it, add whatever is keywords that she'd be searching for.
Yep.
Content is next.
Yeah, I was definitely want to interview other special needs moms. So sharing their stories, like I think to me, stories are so important. And I love watching television, like listening to your podcast and trying to figure out like, what are my passions? What do I love? What do I, whatever. And I was thinking like, I love watching TV. Like but I think it's that storyline. Like it's how, like they're having struggles. How do they overcome it? How does it relate to anything I'm going through? Like having that relationship, especially like when you're a stay-at-home mom and you're alone or just with a child, like you need adults on TV. Like you need adults somewhere.
Yes.
To just have those adult moments, but having those stories. So hearing from moms, like how they felt when their child was getting diagnosed, how they felt in the beginning, how did it affect your relationships? How did it affect, things at school when you had your first IEP meeting, or you had to advocate or stand up for yourself or stand up for your child, or like talking to your in-laws, how did you grow that backbone or feel that thing inside of yourself to keep moving through and see the joy in your child, even when things are hard.
I like, because every episode,
that's everyone,
Yeah. So I think you could ask them, every mom that you talk to, and what was the silver lining? Like at the end of the day, you shared this story. What's the silver lining that where you're sitting right now? And then that also made me think of something else. How do you feel about coaching?
I love coaching. I think coaching would be my jam.
So hot dang, you just monetized.
Yeah.
That makes sense for you. I think because of the education that you have, because of what you've already gone through with your kids, you can simply, you can do some of them on the air, like have a woman come share her story, but then have them bring their top 3 issues or questions that they're facing. And you're working through it with them live on the show. And if other women want to do that with you, like you can start for free to get some credibility, some social proof on the show. And then after 3 of those free ones, people are going to start asking you, how do I book a session with you just like that? And you can do these silver lining sessions. I don't know whatever, right? Right?
I love that it's all just like, it just makes sense.
It's so perfect. And it's just like this. If you're hopping on with a mom, maybe it's 30 minutes to start. She can play with it. Maybe it's there an hour. And she comes on with you and you basically say, this isn't a therapy session. This is a solution session, right? I want to hear what's going on with you, but I need to know what's the problem we're solving. What's going on? Is it the resources you're looking for? Is it something specific with your child? Because you've been through all of that. I think you have an answer or at least a direction for almost anything that they could bring to you at this point. How do you feel?
It's having that, even though I haven't thought about it that way, but like having that faith that God's going to give me the answer that she needs, that it's not all me. It's not all about me. Like I've lived through these things, but that's not like, I don't have to have the perfect answer for everyone. It'll be given to me.
1,000,000%. That's what happens to me every time I talk to you guys. Before I get on these calls, I'm like I just said, God, gift me the words for this because I don't know this space. And you know that space. Like that is the back of your hand. You're going to know. And it's a newer mom. Remember, she's 2 steps behind you.
Right.
She's 6 months into this thing, or she just got the diagnosis. And so, you've dealt with that for a decade and you already know what that felt like and how you navigated that. And you've gotten to the other side of it. And that's why you're going to know what to say to her.
Yep.
So that's how you monetize. And the beauty of that is we start with a micro following. Like if you had 10 people that were listening to your show, people will already start hiring you for silver lining sessions. We don't need thousands of people to sell like an ebook at $8 each. Later, when you've worked with 30 women, you'll know maybe there's potential for an online course here or something, or a membership community, but not yet. You first have to know, what's she asking me? What am I hearing over and over again? Is there a system here? Or maybe like me, you're going to go, I thrive in these coaching sessions and I'm going to stick with this for a while.
Yeah, I like that. I do like to think big sometimes, like future. So then it gets like, then I feel like not enough. Like, well, I don't have a whole, how can you have a business? I don't have a whole package. I don't have this or I don't have that. It doesn't have to be all of that to start something.
Oh my gosh. All you need is your podcast and an email set up. Like that's like to actually get started with building an audience, do something for free that serves her, which will be this podcast. The second thing is you have some type of email where she can get in touch with you and go, hey, I want a silver lining session. And you just email back and forth. You don't need a package to start with. You don't need anything fancy. Yeah. I have a coaching episode coming out Thursday that tells you guys everything about how to do a coaching business. How do I invoice? What do I use? It's perfect timing. So you'll have that to set that up because you don't need anything. It's all of the stuff is free. Zoom is free. Calendly is free. You can use MailChimp for a while for email.
Right. And I already have all of that stuff from my oil business.
Oh, perfect.
So it's already there.
And another way for you to monetize from day one, Jillian, is to say, this episode is sponsored by essentially Dr. Mom. Mama, are you needing some peace in your life? I know you've heard of essential oils. I've got my favorites. I have a company that I personally love. They're sponsoring this episode. If you want to come on over to blah and see what my top 3 oils are for peace and come on over and you give her a link. Or if you want, give her, does that make sense? So you can actually sponsor your own show, quote unquote, with your own oils.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So you got your double dipping because you're sponsoring with a product that you know does help her.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, you're going to let them know. And P.S., before we go, ladies, I just want to remind you, I have silver lining sessions available for you. If you have a specific thing you want to work through or navigate with me, remember, I've got a decade of experience in this area. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I want to help you get through the mindset shifts you need, give you the resources, work through solutions with you. So email me at blah.com and we'll talk about if this would be a good fit for you.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, now you've monetized.
I love it. I know. I put my passion oil on before we got started. I'm like, it's all going to like just Jones through me now.
And it's amazing. So let's talk about what we would charge for the coaching, the silver lining sessions. And do you think that would be like a 30-minute?
I would.
45-minute? An hour?
Like, I also want to be cognizant of her time. So I feel like trying to keep it to a half an hour would be helpful for her, especially if she's home with her kids. Like, finding a half an hour might be a little bit more reasonable than finding a whole hour where she can feel like she's taking time for herself. I'll know, like, once I do some of the free ones in the beginning, like, how long do they run?
Yes.
Because I don't know if a half an hour is enough for her to like get through everything. But
and the biggest thing with coaching sessions, especially I think for this woman, is going to be having a lot of communication up front of how the call is structured.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have, hey, I'm so excited you just booked your call with me. We're going to have 5 minutes for you to share your story, because they could ramble for 30 minutes and then all of a sudden there's no solution.
Right.
So you have 5 to 7 minutes to share your story. And, even if you have to, you'll hear a ding. Then we're going to transition into what are the top 2 problems you're bringing to me now that we're going to solve, because this is about solutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They bring you the top 2 things, you're spitfiring back to them, whatever that answer, that resource, that mindset shift is that they need to make, helping them navigate that. And then that's the call. So I think just a lot of open communication beforehand of how you want to structure those. You don't want it to be a therapy session.
Right.
Like, I think you're bringing the positivity with the Silver Lining Show, which is so cool. It's a different perspective on this. And so I think your sessions will really be focused on that. So as long as she's aware of that, and once people hear you do it on the show,
mm-hmm.
it drives more business than I can possibly handle, because people heard me do it on the air and went, I need that for me.
Oh, 100%. That's what I did. Like, I binged like 3 or 4 episodes and I was like, nope, I need to do that.
So they're going to do that with you. And it's free. Like,
mm-hmm.
You're not putting money into sales funnels. You're not setting up crazy things. Like, you're just talking and sharing and helping, and other people go, hi, I need that. It's the most beautiful thing.
I love it.
Cool. So money-wise, I would say 2 or 3 for free so you can use them on your show to get started. Mm-hmm. And then you saw how my process went when I ask somebody, when I book with them, I ask them, are you open to me using this on the show? If so, sign the release.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do the same with your sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So cost-wise, I think it starts with, what are you worth? You have to ask yourself that question. If you went in the job market today, what would you want to make per hour?
Well, I think doing what I did before, which mm-hmm. was not at all related to this.
That's okay. Because it's still your worth if you went back to a job market.
I would guess like $30 an hour.
Okay. Start these mini sessions at $47 for 30 minutes. Because we have to roll in 7s, and you can charge a little bit more and if that feels weird to you, you can do 37,
mm-hmm.
but you can charge more because it's a solution.
But I also know if you were going to like therapy or counseling, it'd be over $100 an hour.
Exactly.
Like that. So
but you can always scale up. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to do 6 months at 47, and you verbalize that to these mamas,
mm-hmm.
because you guys are founders of this show with me, because we are warriors together, sister, mama friends that are getting started on this journey together. For the first whatever of you, 20 of you or 30 of you, I'm going to give you a silver lining session for 47. We're going to break through a barrier. We're going to navigate whatever you're going through. You can communicate that with them. Like, you're going to gift them these sessions at this great price because you want to help the sisters that are there with you from the beginning. You also want to get social proof that there's always a silver lining in every situation. You want to use it on your show. I think that's a win-win-win for everybody involved. And if you had a couple a week, just icing on the cake, and then double the price in 6 months.
Yeah.
And people will pay once they hear you in action. They're like, oh, she had so many answers for her. Oh,
right.
You know, and we feel like, but are we going to give it all away? No, because every woman's different. Like you said, every parent is different. Every problem has its differences. Okay. So any other questions on any of the above that we've talked about, the 4 tiers of branding or the podcast or anything like that?
I don't think so. Like, I don't know. It all just like feels so ordainedly right.
Same. I'm
it's
digging this.
I think it's going to take just like figuring out what works and hearing those same questions and like me getting that faith and that sense of myself that like, okay, we can do this.
Once you do the first 2 sessions, you're going to be like, are you kidding? Like this is so in alignment for me. Or there's certain pieces of this that aren't, but you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's get the first couple done. Reach out to a couple mamas and let them know, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm starting. I have 2 pro bono spots. I need you to come on, but you're going to be on my show and do it obviously in Zoom. And then if you hate it, you don't have to use it on your show.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to realize, holy smokes, I have a gift for this. If you love talking to people, navigating issues with people, this is everything.
So is that normally what you do is you record the like video audio in Zoom because then it gives you an audio file and then you use that and do you like edit it a bunch or not really?
I don't really edit much. In these coaching sessions, when I use them on the air, I try to edit them to 45 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm.
I have an editor that does that.
Okay.
But if I just riff a small 20-minute episode, there are times I don't even edit at all. So it depends on how flowy you are in your recording.
Right.
And then I have other like students that are like, I'm a mess and I could edit for 8 hours because my thoughts are everywhere. And so the biggest thing is like, how do you work best when it comes to recording? And if you need to fully script it, do it. If you need just a quick outline, if you're just an off the cuff person, try to get your message out like cleanly so that you don't have a lot of work to do with editing. I don't know if you're going to take the course or not, but I do have a whole module on editing yourself versus outsourcing and finding the cheapest option for that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So we have 15 minutes. What else is open for you that you want to talk about?
I think what that balance is between, especially with podcasts, because I've listened to some, like I love the coaching calls because I think that those are really cool and they're helpful. I've tried to listen to other parenting podcasts and I think that's why I've shied away from it for a long time because, you know, like I said, the parenting realm feels so judgmental to me. Like even when they're just, I don't know, I think that's probably people trying to give education, but it feels like judgment.
But they don't get where you sit. That's why yours will be different because they're parents with, you know, normally functioning kids and it's a whole different ballgame. And that's why it's so beautiful what you're going to do because the way you have to parent, it is different. And I think it's okay for you to step up and say, do you guys feel judged in this space? So do I. Like, let's do something different here because we have to parent in a different way and for you to be that voice for them.
I know. I think that's what scares me the most is like just the parenting thing. It's reminding myself it's just community. It's not judgment. And like how to have the education side, like, because there will be things of me sharing a story is kind of education. Like, you know, like my son wouldn't do this. So I learned that he loved to look at himself in the mirror. So now we're incorporating the mirror in other things.
You totally want education in there, but make it relatable to her by, you know, if there's something funny that happened with the mirror, be sure you put that in. Like just where it seems like it's your friends sitting together talking about this versus I am a doctor today and we are going to talk about, you know, the ABCs of autism. Like they want to feel you like, oh, and then he went to the mirror and he was like laughing because he saw himself. And like, I think the emotional connection with that mom and then storytelling that then brings her to education. And of course, learn through experience, sharing what you've done that works, giving visual examples will be everything. So you will have education in there.
Well, and I haven't listened to your breaking up with Instagram one yet, but I need to listen to that. I love Instagram for the fact that I've found more community there. Like I've been able to find other kids with cerebral palsy and like see them on a journey where I couldn't find that on Facebook. I couldn't find that anywhere else. So those hashtags have been really helpful.
Good. Basically, the whole premise of it is that use it for that. Use it for connection, for growing your existing audience. But what Instagram is not doing today is growing an organic new audience.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what
and that is the hard thing. And that's with my oil business. Like, I will never, ever stop using oils. Mm-hmm. Like, they've literally saved us. And like what they've done with my son, with his respiratory system and everything has just been I mean, I tear up just thinking about it. It's so amazing. But I know that it's not mine. Like, I have no control over that. I have no control over anything. They could go, like, I don't at all and think that they'll go under, but they could. Like, things happen. And then I don't have that.
Yeah, this is so beautiful because it creates something that's yours where you can make 100% of the profits. Mm-hmm. But yet, because the mom that's going to hire you for a session, she's also buying oils. So if she likes you better than everyone else, she's going to buy it from you. Mm-hmm. And great, you can make 20, 30% off of those oil sales as well because they will help her.
Right. They will, for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's important that when you market the oils, share that, like you just shared a story. Remember that women are emotional beings, especially your mom. Mm-hmm. You're going to be touching. And so let them know, guys, I'm obsessed with oils. They're sponsoring my favorite oils are sponsoring this show. And let me share a story with you. My son had this respiratory thing and da-da-da-da. So if you need to grab this oil or your kiddos are facing a similar thing, come on over to blah and check out my favorite oils.
Yeah.
And I would definitely leave the name of your oils out.
Don't. The brand, yeah.
Yeah. So that it's for curiosity marketing. And if you ever had to switch for any reason, you never have to take down an episode.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Just in case. You just never know.
Well, I love it. Do you have any other people who are kind of in the parenting? Like, I don't know. Is this, when you talk about like what section do you go into? Do you think that this is like a parenting section of iTunes? It
is parenting, and then secondary would be education, I believe.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It's not a parenting podcast. Mm-hmm. It's for parents in a special realm. So I think you can remove that weird mindset that's keeping you
of parenting skills. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with that. And yes, you'll talk about some parenting, but this is really for the mom. This is for Becky. Mm-hmm. It's her mindset. It's her resources. It's her processing. It's her navigation of guilt. It's her overwhelm. It's for her, really.
Well, and I know we've just even in the last month or two, I find myself reminding myself often, you prayed for this. The problem you're having right now, you prayed for that. Yes. When I tell my son, stop talking to me. Are you kidding me? He's 7. When he was 4, I was please say mom. And now I'm can you stop?
Oh, I love that.
And I'm I prayed so hard for this. And now I am yelling at you.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful and magic. I love, and see little stories like that, Jillian, to have those in your show. It's so relatable. And it's the mom sitting where you sat 4 years ago going, I'm just praying for my kid to talk to me, know? And you can let them know, listen, there may be a day that your kid is, jabbering left and right.
Right.
So you're helping her find the silver lining.
I know. It just all works. I mean, you're so right. It was just held.
Hey, you said silver lining yourself. It was.
I have it written down. I was writing stuff before, for the last few days, and I have it written randomly over things.
Yeah. Wow. So it all came full circle. I think sooner rather than later, because otherwise you'll get in your head, in your way. And to launch a podcast, there's really not a lot to launch it. You have a lot of the stuff right here because we've just worked through all the verbiage, titling all of that. I would say you could totally get this thing going in 30 days.
I think so.
And then think about who do you want those first maybe 2 or 3 women to be. That you do that strategy session with, host it in Zoom just like this, and then see how you feel about that. You're going to know after you do, probably after the first one, you're going to be dang it, that's it. I loved that. Or you're going to go, and I think that's going to be the answer. Or you'll say, I didn't love that. And that's okay too. But I think you will. I think I can just tell that you're going to love that. And then the next step is maybe 90 days from now, we can do another call. And 90 to 120 days from now, because I have 90 days worth of podcasting. I've met with 15 women. Here's all the things that are going on, and we can talk about what's next so that you can have a plan for the next 6 months.
Right.
Is there a membership community potential here? Do we see an outline of an online course that we need to create? XYZ.
Yeah.
So I think that's but right now this is the focus, and that you're just zoned into it.
They're focused on that. Yeah. You are so what I needed.
Good. Well, I'm sending you blessings. I'm just
thank you
want
so
to wrap
much.
you in so much courage, because I think this is amazing, and I'm cheering for you. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And, keep me posted.
I will. Thank you so much.
I hope you guys loved that live coaching episode with Jillian. And as you can see, we went from, hi, Stef, I hope we can nail down a business idea, to her literally having a podcast out in the world. And she actually ended on the name Sprinkled with Strength. Again, you can check out her podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, Jillian Pettit, and just proud of her, just so proud of her, you guys. And I want you to know that if you're sitting in that space where she was sitting back in January, in 2 short months, you can have transformation. In 2 short months, you can figure out the things. You can get clarity on the how. All you have to do is raise your hand and ask for help, okay? And whether that be me or another mentor that resonates with you, or a course that you've been eyeballing, or maybe it's even free stuff, a book or a podcast that you desperately need to help you move the needle, just do the thing. Just do it. Rip off the Band-Aid, make the investment, make the phone call, ask for help, reach into your membership groups, or find a community and say, hello, will anybody help me with this thing? Because you got to get going. You got to move your feet. You got to start somewhere in order to have traction. And so I'm just so proud of Jillian, because she made the investment in herself to get clarity. And together we mapped out the business and the brand. And now she has a podcast. And I'm just excited for it, because the mission behind it is so big. And you know that God specifically asked that of her. So I'm so excited to watch how he works through her. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, sending you guys off with a huge hug and a thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this sisterhood with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and sharing with your friends and posting it in stories. That is literally how we spread our sisterhood and continue to help other women be incredible moms and entrepreneurs, which is really what the word mompreneur means to me. It means we have a call to be fierce as moms and to raise up these little kingdom soldiers for Jesus. And we also have a call to do incredible things for us and for it, with the giftings that we've ultimately been given, and to kind of tap into that. And so mompreneur to me is this word of just ferocity, because we are fierce moms and we are also incredible businesswomen. And I'm just excited that you're here with me on this journey. So sending you that little bit of gratitude and a hug. I'll see you soon. As always, love and light, Stef.
If you like Mama's Talk, leave a review. Pretty please.
Hey Mama, real quick before you go, if you found value in today's podcast and you learned something new, take a screenshot for me, post it up in your Instagram stories, and be sure to tag me, because together we can empower, educate, and shift the way that mamas look at life. Because sister friend, we actually can have it all. Let's claim it.